Nate. What's up, guys? This is Brendan with EVOQ Bike. We're here to talk about AI and coaching, and the TrainerRoad podcast came out talking about adaptive training. And I always preface this: I really like TrainerRoad. I like what they're doing. I love the TR community, the users, the forum. I was super disappointed. I could only stand 10 minutes of the podcast that they put out. He continually is just like, sorry coaches, this replaces coaches. And I was like, man, do they really think that? So I messaged Nate. I was like, hey, have you ever had a coach? Like, it seems like from your comments and a conversation we had that you think that coaches are out there just to prescribe workouts. And to be fully honest, like, I really respect Nate a lot. I've reached out to Nate to be a mentor for me in order to help me grow my business, see what he thinks of where I'm going. And I was honestly, I was so humbled when he was like, you're kind of a competitor of ours. And that's when we got in. This is months ago. We got in the conversation. He was telling me, hey, we're going to be coming out with this AI thing. I just want to let you know. So if we're having these conversations about your business, you don't feel like I'm not telling you what I'm up to. And I thought that was really cool. But at the same time, you know, I'm a huge believer in education. I spend more money on a cycling coach than any of my athletes do. I spend more money on business coaching than I think any of my friends do. I have always reaped back more from learning than what I've spent on it. So in talking to Nate, like, I know he believes in mentorship in business, and just when I'm here to defend the coaches, and I guess maybe not even defend, but discuss, like, he has a huge platform. So to tell people that this replaces coaching, I was like, man, you either really had a bad coach or you're kind of you're not being honest with people. And that's why I'm gonna make this video. So I'd asked Nate, hey, have you ever had a coach? And he said, we're here to just beat coaches in picking workouts, but coaches are good for skills, accountability, and a mental coach. Now, he didn't say that in the podcast, so I'm disappointed that he's telling me that and not everybody else that. The EVOQ community, you watching this video, our athletes, the people that reach out to us, people on Instagram, the YouTube comments, I hope that everyone always gets the gist of we are just sharing our experience as coaches, athletes. I don't have any coaches on the EVOQ squad that's not in the trenches doing what you are doing. We're this tribe, okay? And so are all these other podcasts out there. We bounce ideas off each other. I had Frank Overton on, Ashton Lambie's a coach. We're gonna have another guy that you're gonna see next week who has coached people. And I'm like, dude, when you're done doing the pro tour racing, you need to come coach with us. But we're all learning and growing from each other. If we just start looking to AI for everything, we're definitely going to stop learning and stop growing, okay? That's our biggest mindset, is having a growth mindset. So I was a little disappointed that Nate kind of took a jab. I don't take shots, but I'm definitely going to respond to them when people throw them at us. And, I'm not even going to go into the video of talking about, like, the sweet spot energy system. Come on, guys. You can't start making up things like that. That one stings. Like, you have such a huge platform. You could see some of the other coaches that are there on the TrainerRoad podcast cringe when Nate was talking about some of this. So there's other podcasts and there's other groups of coaches that are going to go in on that side of things. I more want to talk about how is this applicable to us as an athlete, and I've taken down some notes. Like every trend that has come before, I'm not saying AI is a trend, but AI is a tool. And who's best to use tools? Coaches. Coaches have this relationship with their athletes. So I think it's good to point out, what is AI good at? It's definitely good at creating workouts. It can help create variability in workouts. It could possibly find parts of workouts where you're not good at, and we'll talk about this though, and tweak them and make them more personable. It could help you map out your plan. I think it could keep you accountable a little bit. Most people that I've talked to have said, no way, I want the coach there. James Walsh in the forum video that we posted a few weeks ago was like, dude, when I have a hard session, I don't care what the computer says. I need my coach that I can like ping and be like, yo, dude, this is gonna be so hard, and talk to him about it afterwards. Okay, so the accountability probably is more towards the coaches. What's it bad at? Number one, tactics. Like, how are you going to discuss the upcoming goal? All this stuff that you're training for, that you're doing these workouts for, you got to be able to talk about the goal with somebody. It's also going to have a really hard time planning the goalpost, like the big race. How do you detail all these event specifics to a computer program? The amount of, even if the program was smart enough that you could somehow input all of these, this is where this big climb is, this is who the teams are, this is how I've done before. Like, there is so much that goes into a race that there is no way it can synthesize that information to then spit something back out to you. Because remember, input, output. What you put in is what you're gonna get back out. I mean, I've even had a guy come over from TrainerRoad that was getting ready for a race that's 5 to 6 hour gravel race, and I had asked him, hey, what's the availability? You probably don't have availability to ride longer on the weekends. He's like, no, I can, it's just the plan doesn't tell me to. So it's like, the longest ride was 2 hours, maybe even less. Like, that's a problem. That is a massive problem that the human needs to use the tool to alter. He's gonna go to a 5 to 6 hour gravel race and train 2 hours. I'm sorry, I disagree with that. Execution of intervals. I've talked about this. I've talked to Trevor Connor about this at length. I need to get Trevor on the podcast. You shouldn't spend money on a template. You should do workouts and spend money on having someone help you understand if you're executing them properly. Number one, we've talked about this a million times. People don't know how to ride endurance a lot. It's not knocking people, but if you don't have something like, hey, look to only hit 10% zone one. Hey, like, your cadence is off here. Analyze the file on a basic ride. Now extrapolate that to really hard intervals. How can you optimize your performance so that you're getting the most out of each one? Also, this program is not going to understand the different types of VO2 max workouts and which one's getting you the most VO2 max benefit, because as I talked with Cody, there's ways that even looking at one metric, even if you looked at 85% VO2 max, that metric can get skewed based on how you're delivering the wattages. If there's not, 30 seconds of power at VO2 max, it might count time in that zone there when it's really not, I shouldn't even say that zone, at that physiological level. Even if it doesn't count, there needs to be some human coached interpretation of that data. So that's another issue. Athlete motivation, right? How is it going to understand if you're tired, if you just aren't? I told Tom, like, we were talking about the next week of training, I was like, you know what, dude, whatever we're doing, I'm good with over-unders right now. Like, we got a lot out of those, but I don't want the computer to think, one more week. I need to be able to tell someone, hey, I'm just not feeling that right now, okay? We're going to dive into that in a little bit more. There's also, just to the point of motivation, you have to be hungry to train, okay? Even when you're going through an aerobic phase, let's say. I think it's really big. I emailed every athlete, I want to say it was late December, January, saying, hey, we've been working on base stuff for a while. How do you feel? How hungry are you? A lot of you are now stuck inside, which might not be a big deal for the TrainerRoad people, but like, you're inside, it's cold, it's wintry. How's your motivation? Because base work, aerobic work, it's not sexy, it's not crazy. It's, go through the 5 blocks of training. You can see all the stuff that we're doing. You're getting some variation from the gym, but it can get a little dull if you're doing it the right way. You try and keep things spiced up without going super hard too early. And you just have to check in, like, you good? Because if they're not, then that person, because of the mental side of cycling, I'm like, what would make you more excited? Dude, I want to go do this 7-hour ride. Cool. This is the time to go do that. Like, if it tanks you a little bit, it's fine. It's December. Hey, I want a Zwift race. Okay, let's throw some Zwift races in there. Let's, vary it up, and you gotta keep the athlete happy and hungry. I ain't doing that. Sorry, Nate. Okay, coaches are mentors. We've talked about this, but it's the experience that they had. And Frank Overton, his podcast, went in on this. And so being able to lean on the experience of all the other athletes that we coach, being able to lean on all the other coaches, that's a huge, huge leg up for coaches when you're seeing the forest from the trees, okay? How is the AI going to look at your family's life situation, things you have going on at work? Being able to input that so that it's not that like, hey, I'm skipping this because I'm tired. It's, hey, I'm skipping this because I have this deadline. My partner's pissed at me. My kid just threw up. Da, 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 da. Like, we need to understand what's going on in the real world. Sorry, Nate, AI is nowhere near doing that. I had an athlete that had a race where he set PRs for a week. We went in on the weekend, crushed a couple races, and we're starting to taper down for a race. So CTL is falling. His TSB was coming positive, and he emailed me super worried, like, yo, I'm getting too fresh. What's gonna happen? We had a good workout schedule on Tuesday. We had a great run into the race, but just looking at a couple metrics, the computer might think, like this guy's he's gonna be too fresh. We need to get some work in. I don't think it's gonna look that he just set PRs knowing in the past week and a half, like, dude, he's good, he's humming along. Also, it was the end of February. He went in, raced great, was probably like +5. The AI is gonna be too in on the metrics and not in on the real life situation. I've also posted a video, it's on YouTube, called CTL Can Be Misleading If It's Your Main Metric When Assessing Training. And it shows how leaning on AI would be absolutely crazy. The amount of training I did and my TSB was 0. Watch that video, you would be like, I'm glad you didn't follow a computer program, because it would totally have blasted me when I was already tired. Cody Stevenson talks about now with people doing polarized and the way he coaches people, he doesn't even use the PMC chart. So there's going to be a lot, and we'll talk about the methodology of the AI. The methodology is going to be like programmed by a few people. Do you trust those people? What about mental burnout? You know, what if all the body metrics are training positive, but you're burnt out because of work? You're burnt out because of training. You're burnt out because of whatever reason in your life. Who are you going to talk to? You should call Nate. All right, lifting. There are 0 metrics that we're really using. We're inputting TSS. A TR user reached out to me and said, hey, I also don't think it's a coincidence that TrainerRoad ran a 6-week training study in 12/2020 where you were given an account in exchange for participating in the study. AI was released 3 months later, so I'm guessing they were probably testing it. The side note is you were not allowed to lift during the study, cycling only. I guess AI doesn't lift, brah. Shout out Josh for sending that to me. Lifting, how are you gonna incorporate that into the plan? That's a huge part of cycling. All the other off the bike, I guess that's what Nate calls skills, but I don't really know what he means by skills. All right, what's the algorithm's philosophy? Do they even understand fun? Also, when do you tell AI to go take a hike? When I message Tom and I'm like, yo, dude, I've been training hard for the past 3 weeks. This is what I need to do today, okay? There needs to be that flexibility. It can't just be Coach Chad's, if this, then that. If this, then that. You are not a robot. We could talk at length about that. This AI totally removes the athlete. How do you explain to them that maybe you just don't enjoy a session? Training has to be fun, and since there are a million ways to train, if you hate something, not because you're bad at it, not because of whatever, you don't feel like you're getting something out of it, there's a reason why you don't like it. It might even be like you have a poor route selection for something. Your performance might not be great on a workout because of like rolling hills, and you're just still learning how to shift the gears correctly and really use the bike and hone in on things. AI is going to think you're failing because your body can't do the watts. I'm telling you, you can't complete the workout because you don't know how to ride the bike as precisely as possible. You're going to have to call Nate for that one. Don't lean on the AI program. And then I guess he does say, the human elements of fueling, committing to the training lifestyle, that's not going to be possible by AI. So, a coach makes a lot of training decisions outside of the workouts when we're seeing the forest based on the observation of the athlete, whether it's physiologically, psychologically, your personal goals, your limitations, your demands on what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm just like, when he said, this replaces coaches. Sorry, coaches. I just cringe. Like, I think we could go, I'm getting past the time limit that I want to make for these videos, but it's like, I'm just so shocked that that was the message that they wanted to get across. And then the last thing, shout out to Nick who sent this to me, and also shout out to Craig and Patrick who gave me their ideas for this post. Optimized intervals came up, and I don't think optimized intervals is the end all be all. I don't think it's 95% there. I think if you, and this is WKO's optimized intervals, I think if you lean on that, you're really missing the boat on training. It has a huge gap that I talked about with Cody. I believe that was on camera, of like the 8 to 12 minute portion of intervals. I don't think it's the love that it deserves from the computer program, but Nick said, WKO is more descriptive, but it has optimized intervals that are a prescriptive component of the program, but it requires testing and clean data to make sure the algorithm and model is up to date. It can be a massively useful tool, but it's not aimed at beginners, which is very true. TrainerRoad is a prescriptive training tool, not able to replace a coach, but rather providing an alternate to a basic template. Their new AI improves by adjusting as you work through programs, but in no way does it replace a coach, and I don't really think they're intending to replace coaching with AI. They are. Nate told me, I don't want people to have to pay a few $100s for a coach. And I was like, man, you make me feel like I'm wasting my money. I spend a lot of money on coaching. And I love it. I get so much out of it. Like, oh man, this just crushes me. But I do think there's a good middle ground between a basic template and hiring a coach with the money invested, but both require the ability to listen to your body and provide feedback to achieve the best results. So you'll hear other people knocking the TrainerRoad style of like, it's aimed at just beginners. I don't think that's true. I think the problem is it's just really pigeonholed into one methodology of how you should train. It doesn't really address real life racing. That's why so many TrainerRoad people, they get faster, they improve their FTP, and then they go and get dropped. They can't handle the real life bike racing. So again, I really hope this doesn't come across as me trashing them. This is a positive channel only. This is a community. I would love for the TrainerRoad dudes to feel like they were part of our community or even as a tribe that we bounce ideas around. I want to still be welcomed in the TrainerRoad group. I'm just so blown away that they think coaches don't welcome AI. If there's a tool out there that will help me better help an athlete on the micro level of picking workouts, awesome. It is not there yet. There are so many variables, and I love what TrainerRoad's goals are, but like to compare themselves to Apple and what Apple did for society to where TrainerRoad's at right now, no. And to then tell people that there's different energy systems, that's truly not true. If you misspoke, cool, we all misspeak. Like, that's the one problem with, like, I think the WKO Facebook group. If you haven't watched every Tim Cusick webinar, people are like, crucify him! Or like, you go in some things in Reddit and everyone's just there to like smash people down. Like, no. Like, let's all help our athletes. Let's all help each other. Let's all help each other as coaches. Let's all look for better ways to get better. Yes, that's what we are about. So that's my response to the video. I think Nate threw a little jab there and just didn't resonate well with me. So that's why you should get a coach. That's why we all should have coaches in many different aspects of life. And with that, hope you guys have a great day training. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for all you do. See ya.